Hi, this is Micornus Phokane, the leader and the founder of the Young Men Empowerment Forum. We are dealing with emotional intelligence, and we say, how do you check if you're emotionally intelligent as a young man? How do you know that you are emotionally intelligent as a young man? Number one is you must offer constructive feedback to skillfully to people. Now, when you are able to offer constructive feedback to people, but not only offer constructive feedback, but skillfully so, remember that feedback to people is useful for them. It helps them. And it's very important that we keep giving feedback to other people. Not only give to other people, but we must give feedback to ourselves sometimes, whereby you reflect, you introspect, and you basically give feedback to yourself. And you must graciously receive the feedback. Now, we are saying also the same way that you view feedback in your life, that it is very important. And it needs to be presented in a manner that is decent and skillful. It is very important as well that you package your feedback to others in a skillful manner. And I'm emphatic about this because there are many people that will say, I'm giving them feedback as long as I've given them feedback. It doesn't work that way. Emotional intelligence always consider the feelings of others. Emotional intelligence always consider how will it land the way I put it. So therefore you will rehearse on how you want to present it so that you ask yourself, if it was me, how would I take it if it was presented to me this way? This is very key and very important, and I cannot actually overemphasize this because it's very important for you to understand that the way you package the truth of the feedback that you're giving to others is very key as well. You cannot just throw it to people, and even when it hurts, you say, it's okay. No, we must package it in a way that is skillful enough that will make people receive it better. Because the feedback that people may not receive because of the wrong packaging of it or the wrong presentation of that feedback, it will be a useless feedback because people may not even use that feedback because you presented it wrongly. So emotional intelligence is, please make sure that you are respectful in your presentation of feedback to other people. Don't just say the way you would like to say it. Because I know there are many people that say, no, this is the truth and there's no other way to put it. No, it doesn't matter how you give it. Imagine if you were to tell your friend who might be smelling the armpits, who's having an odor in the armpits, and I'm sure you would imagine that. Or maybe having halitosis, which is the smelling of the mouth. How are you going to present that? Now, this is very important how you present it as well, because you cannot just say, no, you're smelling armpits, or my friend, you're smelling from the mouth and things like that. You cannot just put it that way. So emotional intelligence is how to come around with the way to present it. And that's very key. And I want to emphasize that as a young man, that is a skill that you need to adopt as an emotionally intelligent young man. Because as Young Men Empowerment Forum, our purpose is actually to develop you. Our purpose is to get you to a place where you will be able to present things differently, where you'll be able to shape things and talk more in a respectful manner to people. And don't just throw things and say, I don't care how it lands to them. It's very important that you package it right, because that's the only way that people are going to listen to you. Secondly, how do you know that you're emotionally intelligent? You are self-motivated and driven from within. You must be self-motivated and be driven from within. I've taught several times to you as young men out there that there are two types of motivations. And the first one is what we call extrinsic motivation. And the second one is what we call intrinsic motivation. What's the difference? The extrinsic motivation, as the word extra, it actually shows you that it's coming from outside. So it's motivation from things like money, incentives, and praises of people around and so on. That's the motivation that comes from outside. But remember that as a young man, that motivation from our side is not always going to come. And that is why sometimes I want to emphasize that you should actually not rely on extrinsic motivation. But you must have what we call intrinsic motivation, which is motivation from within. You motivate yourself. You realize that I need to be motivated. I shall rise. I motivate myself, and I do. And we have said to you as young men as well, that those of you who are born again, it's very important that you acknowledge the fact that God, you can actually inquire from the Lord, like David did and inquired from the Lord. And when he inquired from the Lord, the Bible says, after God has confirmed that he can pursue, and he pursued, and he was encouraged. The Bible says David encouraged himself and in the Lord. And this is very important. And I want to emphasize that as a young man, encourage yourself in the Lord. Motivate yourself in the Lord, because it's not everybody outside who's going to shower you with praises. So don't wait for praises from outside, because sometimes they may not come. And that's the reason why we want to emphasize the fact that motivate yourself from within. And the people that motivate themselves from the within, they are emotionally intelligent. And as a young man, this is a skill that you need to develop to be able to motivate yourself from within and become emotionally intelligent. And I cannot emphasize this enough either. I'm going to also emphasize the fact that if you want to be emotionally intelligent and you want to see that you're emotionally intelligent, please check if you inspire others with your leadership vision. Because you must inspire others. Leadership is about inspiring others. Leadership is about having followership of some kind. People that will look up to you and say, I'm learning a lot out of this person. I'm learning a lot out of the behavior of this person. So emotional intelligence is ability to look from within and say, is my leadership inspiring others? So in this case, you'll realize that you're going to need to start scrutinizing your own character. You're going to start scrutinizing your own behavioral patterns and behavioral ways of living. Because the way you behave may not be an inspiration to others. So therefore, always scrutinize your behavior. Scrutinize how you deal with people. Scrutinize how you talk. Scrutinize how you walk. Scrutinize how you dress. And this is very important, because if you don't, you might actually be a leader that is not inspiring to others. And you may lie to yourself and say, I'm okay, I'm a good leader. But good leader is that one who is inspiring others. Because leadership is about inspiration. Remember, as a young man, I teach you that you must be exemplary in nature. Role model behavior. That's very important. Ask yourself, if you want to check this, that how do people see me? The type of lifestyle that I lead, is there many people or is there any individual who would like to be like me? Check that as a young man. Because some of you as young men have given yourself to drugs. You have given yourself to alcohol. Have given yourself to rowdy living. But ask yourself, is there anybody who will be inspired by the type of life that you live? Because if it's the life that's not inspiring you, we are saying emotional intelligence is ability to look into that and say, I cannot inspire anybody. So therefore, I must work on myself and change the type of lifestyle that I live. Rude, being aggressive, being somebody who fights a lot, and somebody who is actually not likable by people. And because sometimes you are, as an individual, not an example among people. And you realize that, and sometimes you justify it by saying, I don't care how people see me or view me. You must care, young man, and you must be able to know that how people view you is very important. And we cannot ignore that fact that it is very important to shape on the way of how people look at you, and make sure that people look at you with admiration and inspiration. And knowing that they are inspired by looking at you, and they want to be like you, they want to do things your way, and they are actually excited to associate with you as well. And that's very important as a young man, because that speaks to emotional intelligence. I want to end up here today. Your host, Micornus Phokane, the leader, the founder of the Young Men Empowerment Forum. We are developing you from being just an ordinary young man. Of course, we want you to become a young man of wisdom, integrity, and character. And we're teaching you this through kingdom principles. And I hope that you are learning out of this. Now, I want to check out right here, but before we check out, we want to remind you of our Facebook page, Young Men Empowerment Forum. our Facebook page, Micornus Phokane as well. So please like those pages, click notification buttons so that you are reminded of any video that we post under this disguise. But also remember our YouTube channel. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Young Men Empowerment Forum, and those under Micornus Phokane as well. There are videos that were posted in the past that may be very useful for you as well. And I believe that they will be useful for your life. Please make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. You also follow us on our TikTok account, which is very important for you. And I hope that you will learn out of this and the good Lord will bless you. Allow me to check out right here and say cheers for now.